All right, Shalom. I'm the brother of Rock, back with another Godspeed. You know, Lord willing to be edifying. I want to start off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachakudash. I'd like to give double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Also would like to say peace, safety, much love and blessing to the Akim across the four corners of the earth that are pushing out this truth and sincerity and putting their lives on the line to do so. I want to say shalom to you, brothers. Now I'm going to just do a quick lesson about, keeping your name clean, okay? Because your name is basically what all you have in this world, okay? Your reputation and what type of man you are, how you carry yourself, what your morals, principles, and values are about. Those are things that people remember when your name come up. All right, now if you got a stain on your name, all right, like this little nigga Young Thug, you see, that's why he going to all lengths and measures trying to clear his name, because he don't want to be labeled as something that he feel that he's not. So that's just one prime example of the lengths and measures a man will go to try to clear their name. Then you got Jakes who've been wrongfully accused of doing all manner of wickedness that are innocent, but they go to the lengths, all right, to prove that they haven't done what they've been accused of. Why? Because they want to have a good name, all right? And that's the same thing in the truth, all right? When you're written about in that book of life, all right, when our nation read about great men, great men like we read about the Abraham, the Isaac, the Jacobs. When your name come up, all right, when a rock comes up, you want things to be spoken of in your name in good terms, all right? You don't want to be, like I said, you don't want to have a stain on your name, or every time your name being brought up, there's something negative to be said about it, all right? And just to go to show you, another example, there's men that have been locked up the majority of their lives due to not wanting to plead guilty because they want to keep their name clean. They don't want to be blamed for something they haven't done, okay? So this is Proverbs 22:1. It says, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. So keeping your name clean, all right, and keeping your reputation, not only in the sight of men, but ultimately in the sight of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, all right, keeping that stain off your name, keeping that stain off your garment is highly important. It's more important than riches, according to Proverbs, the 22nd chapter here. It says, a good name is rather to be chosen than riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. All right. So I'm going to jump to the Apocrypha, Sirach 44:1. It says, let us praise famous men and our fathers that begot us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his power from the beginning. Now, when you hear a certain man name in the scriptures, you automatically think, hey, when you think of Daniel, what you think about the lion's den and his integrity that he kept, when the decree came down that no one was to worship their own power. All right. When you think about Abraham, the sacrifice he was willing to make, with Isaac in order to please the Lord. All these things. We hear Moses, going up, Mount Sinai, in that Mount Sinai, going to get the tablets, the name escapes me, and also leading our nation, all right, out of the land of Egypt. No, these were great feats. So when you hear these men named, you automatically think of great accomplishments that they've made. That's why we're reading about them to this day. That's why, the things written aforetime were written for our learning. These men that were great men, we read about today and we learn from them. That's the type of name you want to have, all right? Not only in the sight of men, but ultimately in the sight of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. It says, verse 3, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecies. When you think of King Solomon, what you think about? Wisdom, all right? That's just another example. Verse 5, it says, such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing, rich men furnished with ability, lively, peaceable in their habitations. All these were honored in their generations, were the glory of their times. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises may be reported. And that's the type of mentality you want to have. All right. So that's why you should walk, all right, in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai rather than in the flesh. All right, because if you walking in the flesh majority of the time, quite naturally you ain't gonna have nothing but bad things to be talked about. You know, and nigga always want to do this, he want to be in the mix, and you know, so on and so forth. But that's why it's important, you know, to keep these things in mind. Hey man, your name is the biggest thing you have, especially on this side. All right, and your word. All right, you want to be a man of integrity. You want to be a man of all these fruits of the spirit that we read about. All right, and if you're unfamiliar with the fruits of the spirit, all right, just search it, you know, in the Bible. It'll run you down the things that you should have in your repertoire, man. All right. Last verse, Sirach 44 and 11. It says, matter of fact, verse 9, it says, and some there be which have no memorial. All right, you don't want to be that guy that when you pass on, your name die right along with you. All right, that's why you have certain last names that ring bells, man, when you're mentioned. Oh, you such and such son. Oh, he was a man of this. Oh, he was a great. Oh, that's the type of name you want to leave behind. All right, Lord willing, Lord willing, we be those men, okay, and we're being remembered in the kingdom. But even on this side, if you were to pass prematurely, you know, Lord forbids, if you have children, all right, the name that you left behind and the legacy that you left behind, they'll be remembered by. It says, as though they have, and it be some which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and the children after them. There's some niggas there that died and just their names have gone in the wind. You never hear about them again. You never even think about them again. All right, because they didn't leave anything that was of a lasting impression as far as their name is concerned. All right, last verse. But these were merciful men, speaking about the men of old, you know, the men of Israel. But these were merciful men whose righteousness have not been forgotten. All right, and that's the type of name we want to leave behind, you know. So Lord willing, this was edifying and also exhorting. I'm going to end it by giving all praise, Lord, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bahadash. Double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Shalom.